Amara looked at her daughter Jocelyn with a mixture of pride and tender amusement. The 10-year-old's face was a picture of serious contemplation as she shared her thoughts about Timothy, the man Amara hoped to welcome into their lives. "Mum, why do we need this Timothy? We're doing just fine on our own," Jocelyn declared, her voice carrying a gravity that belied her years. Her eyes, wise and questioning, searched her mother's face for answers. Amara, trying to maintain a composed expression, felt a swell of admiration for her daughter's insight. She had navigated the challenges of single parenthood after a fleeting, ill-fated romance with a man who shied away from commitment. Though the heartache had been profound, it had also ignited a fire within her, fueling her personal growth and eventual success. Growing up in the stark confines of an orphanage, Amara had learned the art of self-reliance at a young age. When she found herself alone with a child, she drew upon an inner well of strength and resilience she hadn't known existed. Her journey began humbly, handing out flyers and selling flowers on bustling street corners. But within these simple acts, she discovered an unyielding passion for business. Then Amara honed her skills in nail services. Her deft touch and keen eye for detail quickly set her apart. A year later, with unwavering determination, she opened her own beauty salon, a sanctuary of elegance and grace amidst the city's clamour. And finally, her triumphs fanned the flames of her ambition so much that she expanded her empire to include 3 cosmetic salons, a flower shop, and a women's boutique. Yet, despite her flourishing career and financial success, Amara felt the gnawing emptiness of loneliness. She yearned for the warmth of romance, for the comfort of waking up beside someone who cherished her, and for the simple shared joys of a life intertwined with another's. When she encountered Timothy online, she saw a glimmer of hope, a chance to finally attain the happiness that had long eluded her. Timothy had captivated Amara from their first virtual interactions, but their relationship had been slow to progress beyond online chats. Several planned meetings were cancelled at the last minute, leaving Amara frustrated and doubtful. However, when Timothy finally showed up for a cafe date, greeting them with roses for Amara and a teddy bear for Jocelyn, Amara was overjoyed. Jocelyn, however, sensed something cold and unfriendly in Timothy's demeanour. As they sat in the cafe, Timothy's charm and attentiveness put Amara at ease, a feeling she hadn't experienced in quite some time. When the bill arrived, Timothy realised with a start that he had misplaced his wallet. Amara, ever gracious, quickly assured him it was no trouble and settled the cheque herself, leaving a generous tip. On returning home, Amara asked Jocelyn's opinion of Timothy. The girl honestly shared her discomfort, but Amara brushed off her concerns, writing them off to the child's vivid imagination. That night, Jocelyn went to bed with a heavy heart, wishing her mother would stop seeing Timothy. She liked their kind and helpful neighbour Edward, Jason's father, who was kind and sincere, but these wonderful neighbours unfortunately remained in their past life in the old apartment building, and in Jocelyn's new life was the hated Timothy. Amara, however, was deeply enamoured with Timothy, seeing no faults in his character. He had revealed little about his past, sharing only that he had moved from a small town and risen through the ranks to become a manager. His courtship was a whirlwind of romance and promises, and talk of marriage swept Amara off her feet. Despite her friends' cautions to proceed slowly, she was captivated by the dream of a future with him. Their wedding was a lavish affair, with Amara presenting Timothy with a gleaming new car as a wedding gift. They moved into a spacious apartment Amara had purchased just before the nuptials. Jocelyn, however, remained guarded about Timothy, sensing a disingenuousness that her mother seemed blind to. Despite her reservations, Jocelyn had to accept this new reality, as Amara was unwilling to acknowledge her daughter's warnings. 6 months had passed, yet The tension between Jocelyn and her stepfather Timothy lingered. She found solace in confiding her worries to her friend Jason, who was the only one she trusted with her concerns. "You know, this Timothy is weird," Jocelyn admitted. "When Mum's not home, he vanishes, spends a lot of money, and is even talking about buying a new car." "Maybe he can afford it," Jason offered, though his tone betrayed a hint of skepticism. Jason's own life had been shaped by loss. His mother had passed away years ago, leaving his father to work tirelessly at a factory to support them, with little time for anything else. Jocelyn's suspicions were further fueled when she inadvertently overheard a peculiar phone conversation. She had returned home to fetch her ball, and, upon entering, heard Timothy's voice from another room. "Yes, Lena, I've missed you too. Just wait a little longer. Tomorrow she'll leave for a business trip, and we'll have a great time together. I love you." Jocelyn, her cheeks flushing with anger and disbelief, hurried outside. She spent the rest of the evening in the playground, fighting back tears until her mother returned from work and took her home. "Jocelyn, what's wrong? Did someone hurt you?" Amara asked, immediately sensing her daughter's distress. Jocelyn hesitated, grappling with the weight of what she had heard. She knew she had to share her discovery with her mother, but the thought of shattering her happiness filled her with dread. The truth was a bitter pill to swallow, and Jocelyn braced herself for the storm that was about to unfold. "Mum, you won't believe what I heard," Jocelyn exclaimed, her voice trembling with urgency as she recounted the conversation she had overheard. Amara's expression darkened as she listened, her heart heavy with the weight of her daughter's revelation. She confronted Timothy, who met her accusations with a calm and convincing demeanour, dismissing Jocelyn's claims as the product of an overactive imagination. "Darling, children at this age often have vivid imaginations. Do you really think I could deceive you? I love you so much. But if there's no trust, maybe it's best we separate," Timothy suggested, his words carefully chosen to manipulate the situation. "All right, I'm sorry, I must have jumped to conclusions," Amara said, her voice tinged with embarrassment. "It's been a tough day, and I overreacted." She smiled weakly, hugging her husband. The conflict seemed to dissipate, but beneath the surface, Timothy's resentment towards Jocelyn festered. He blamed her for his troubles. One day he even threatened her, warning that if she ever spoke against him again, she would face severe consequences. This only fueled Jocelyn's determination to uncover the truth. Realizing that her words alone were not enough to convince her mother, Jocelyn decided to gather concrete evidence. She began monitoring Timothy's movements and found out about his frequent visits to their old apartment with a mysterious woman. With a strategic and careful approach, Jocelyn was resolved to expose Timothy's deceit and protect her mother from further heartache. Jocelyn confided in her friend Jason, sharing her growing concerns about Timothy. "I know something bad is happening, but I don't have any proof," she lamented. "I feel so sorry for my mum. While she's out earning money, he's deceiving her." Jason offered a solution. "Maybe we should set up a camera. My dad has one. I saw him setting it up. It's not complicated. We can store the recording on a phone or a flash drive." The next morning, Jocelyn and Jason, feeling like spies on a secret mission, took the keys from her mother's old apartment, snuck into it, and installed the camera. They didn't have to wait long. That very day, Timothy took the keys and spent the day at his old apartment. The following day, when Amara returned from a business trip, Jocelyn handed her the flash drive with the recording. "What's this?" Amara asked skeptically. "More nonsense?" "No, Mum. It's a video for you. About Timothy. I haven't watched it, but you'll understand everything." Amara was intrigued, but only managed to watch the video once she was at work. What she saw made her turn pale, and she sat motionless for a long time, shocked by the revelation. Composing herself, she picked up Jocelyn from school early, and together they went to the old apartment. Opening the door, Amara found Timothy in the embrace of woman. "Get out of here, both of you!" Amara screamed in anger, "and never come near my family again!" At that moment, Amara's world shifted. But she stood resolute. The pain of betrayal was profound, but it also ignited a strength within her that would guide them through the challenges ahead. Meanwhile, the unfamiliar woman quickly dressed and hurried away, but Timothy showed no intention of sorrow. "What are you looking at? Thought you could buy me? Think again," he sneered, turning his gaze to Jocelyn. "This is all your fault, you little brat. You ruined everything. I warned you. Now you'll pay." He lunged at Jocelyn, but Amara stepped in his way. A struggle ensued, but Amara was no match for the stronger Timothy. Jocelyn ran for help, finding Jason and his father Edward. When they rushed into the apartment, Timothy had pinned Amara to the floor, trying to strangle her. Edward swiftly intervened, pulling Timothy off Amara. The two men fought fiercely, but Edward eventually managed to subdue Timothy. Amara called the police, and Timothy was taken into custody, facing serious charges for assault and attempted murder. She apologized to Jocelyn for not believing her sooner and for allowing the situation to escalate. In gratitude for Edward's support, Amara offered him money, but he declined. "Listen, if you really want to thank me, let's have dinner together at the cafe by the waterfront. It's a beautiful place with excellent cuisine." Amara agreed, thinking a change of scenery would be beneficial after the stressful ordeal. They all went to the cafe and enjoyed a wonderful evening together. Unbeknownst to Amara, Edward had long harboured feelings for her, but had been hesitant to confess due to their financial disparity. Of course, Amara couldn't forget Timothy overnight. She still had to navigate the complexities of a divorce and the trial of her former spouse. However, after witnessing the video of his infidelity, something within her shifted. The obsession that had consumed her since meeting Timothy dissolved, and she no longer fell for sweet talk. Instead, she found solace in the reliability and sincerity of people like Edward. It took time, but one day, Amara realized she was ready for a new relationship. Her feelings for Edward weren't a sudden, intense spark like they had been with Timothy. Instead, they grew steadily, filling her heart with a deep, genuine love for a man who was true and steadfast. Edward didn't try to impress her with grand gestures or empty promises. He simply offered her a partnership in life, and she agreed with pleasure. Jocelyn and Jason were overjoyed. The couple chose not to have a lavish wedding, opting instead for a simple ceremony at the registry office. Edward became not only a faithful and loving husband to Amara, but also a reliable business partner. Their home was filled with prosperity, harmony, and love, a testament to the strength of their bond and the resilience of their family.